This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Even in the virtual world, racing begins to develop traditions and superstitions. In the Lotus 49 community, one proud tradition that has come about is the regular return to Monza to race its combined circuit. Out of use in the real world now, this frighteningly fast high-bank speedway is sometimes forgotten. These drivers are determined to keep it from becoming a faded memory. We'll see who survives the high-speed thrills as we get ready to watch Round 5 of the Lotus 49 Grand Prix Legends Series. And you'll see it all live here on the Global Sim Racing channel and the iRacing Esports Network. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Ryan Walker. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Crackers Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Monza's GP course is difficult enough in the Lotus 49, so to really understand how scary it is to race on the oval, let's hop on board the GSRC Lap Guide.
Alright, we're in the GSRC Lotus 49, so let's do a lap around Monza. Coming up to the first half of the oval, aim for the high side because the banking is actually so steep that it will start to steer the car in for you. In fact, you have to countersteer slightly to keep it from sending you to the apron and getting the car all kinds of wonky. On exit, you'll need a little more steering input since your momentum starts to pull the car towards the outside fence. If you've timed your run right, you can slingshot past the car in front of you down the backstretch. But unless it's a last lap situation, I wouldn't advise trying to go too wide into the second half of the oval. Just like before, you've got to hold wide and countersteer. This and the narrow track make it very treacherous to do anything but single file around the oval. Hope you've got a big pair though, because now comes the jump. Let the car drift a little high, then swing it back low and try your best to keep the car straight over the crest. You can see I wasn't quite perfect, and even that tiny bit of sideways momentum makes for a scary landing. If you're in a pack, sideways landings almost always lead to the big one. Once more, the drafting game is going to be played down the traditional front stretch. Here, it's a lot more viable to go too wide into Curva Grande. You can even attempt to outbrake your opponent. Try to get the power down early, and if you've lined it up right, you can countersteer your way out of the corner with your foot down the whole way out. You can hear I had to lift slightly to keep it together. After that, switch sides and brake hard for Della Rosia. You can take quite a bit of curb on the left and get away with it. Then straighten her out and throw out the anchors for the first Lesmo. A late apex is better than what I've got going on here, though if you compromise your exit a little bit, it's okay because it's not often passes are attempted into the second Lesmo. Don't be afraid to be aggressive on the inside curb here and really focus on getting to the gas as soon as you can. This is a pretty long with the braking into Ascari coming up, it's a very popular passing spot. Expect a lot of aggressive defending into here. Under the bridge, spot your brake marker, then ideally you want to get the rear rotated on entry. Hug tight to the right through the second apex, and then be careful not to clobber the sausage curb on the third one so that you have an easier time applying the power. Use up all the pavement to your right, and then get on the loud pedal again. Parabolica can offer a chance to pass on the last lap, but you'd be foolish to do it any other time because of the draft on the oval. Just like Ascari, try to get the rear of the car to rotate on entry, and then ease onto the throttle on exit. I tend to try and short shift to help me find traction. Getting the launch out of here is incredibly critical to lap times, so avoid hesitation. Hopefully, you've kept it all together and have now finished a lap around Monza.
That onboard view, Ryan, it's hard to overstate just how much of an adrenaline rush it is with these cars racing here in the virtual world.
Absolutely. Monza is probably one of the most fantastic tracks and historical tracks to race around, and I think with this oval being used this afternoon, there's going to be some great racing, and the adrenaline with most of these drivers is going to be absolutely pumping.
You see some of the details of the circuit. Let's take a look at the championship while qualifying goes through. They take a while to get around these laps. The F1 championship has been a little bit weird. Now, Mick Claridge has taken 2 victories so far this season. Michel Dudignon, you might notice, does not show up in the top 5. It's been a bit of a strange season for him as he hasn't taken a victory yet. Of course, you've got Roman Pavlowski up there, Rob Olenek as well, still relatively close. Bobby Trangrade has taken one of the wins as well, even though he's down in 5th. He and Sadro are pretty distant, though, from our top 3 already, even though this is round 5. We keep an amateur championship. We call it the F2 championship. Ryan, how's that sitting?
At the moment, it's currently being led by Antonio Rees with 81 points. Matt Yeomans is in second with 70 points and not far behind. In third place is Bill Tyler with 65 points. And 55 points is Andrew N. And rounding out the top 5 is Colin Coker with 51 points. So the F2 Championship is still really, really close.
Good to see them continue that fight over there. They keep a Constructors' Championship, which is called the Nations Cup, because, well, it's determined by what nation you're racing for, as they did in 67. The UK and the US fighting for that top spot, with Germany just barely back there, also contending with Pavlowski contributing those points. Then, of course, Norway, Ove Trangrade, he is giving the points for them. And France usually has Michel Dudignon, and he has given them a lot of points, but I believe they might have another Frenchman as well. And I need to check if anybody else is contributing in that one. Let's take a look at the race details, because, Ryan, we always get new viewers here, so we have to familiarize them too.
Yep, so anyone that's new to the series or is watching for the first time this afternoon, some details about the track and the race itself. 6.21 miles in length, or 9.99 kilometers if you prefer to use that. Has quite surprised myself. A small 11 turns, but nevertheless it'll still be a great race. And the race length for today will be 15 laps.
Looking forward to that. And of course, once again, you are watching this on the iRacing Esports Network. Make sure and subscribe. Very easy to do so. If you scroll below the YouTube video, there's a little red button that says subscribe. And then you'll catch all the action here on IESN. Just to tell you how long it takes for laps around here, they still haven't set their first timed lap. At least I'm not seeing any on the board currently, so we're still waiting to try and figure out what the order is going to be. It is a huge field out here today, especially for this series, at 34 drivers having signed up. This is certainly going to be a lot of action, almost a NASCAR-sized field now that we've got an oval out there, Ryan.
Yeah, it's quite a big grid around here today. As you mentioned, it's 32 or 34 cars. So it's still a big pack, and around this oval it's going to be quite exciting to watch. And looking through the list of drivers at the moment, I'm surprised to see that Michel Dudignon is not turned up for today. What's his
We've got some times on the board now. Rob Olenek is your provisional pole sitter. Jamie Fluke has returned, and he's put himself on the front row. Dave Price looking quick too there in third. Interesting to note, though, that Mick Claridge has put himself under the gun because he's missed his first lap. He had an off track somewhere. Easy to do at this place. And it's awful tight to get that second lap at around here, so Mick can't waste any time. So right on board with them coming into Curva Grande. Cars get up to an astonishing 215 miles an hour by the time they reach that turn, Ryan.
Absolutely. I think with the high speed that being up around this track as well, I think these guys, or most of these drivers, are going to have to be very, very careful and make sure to treat each other with a bit of respect. And yeah, they want to race hard, but around especially the oval section, it's going to be very, very, how can I say, very sketchy at times.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to put it, is sketchy. I'm looking through to see if we have any outliers. Daniel Sadro, unusually far down. He's qualified in 10th, although this is a unique track, so some drivers' strengths might play better and normally at a more traditional road course here. Continue to watch Mick Claridge try to complete his lap. Looking to see who's coming across soon to take their second one. Looks like Mick actually is coming up to Parabolica right now, so let's stay with it. Just about a minute left, so he is going to squeak one in with plenty of time left to go here. Let's see if this one was clean as he comes to the line. It is, and it's a 2:17.6. That's going to put him on pole by a whole 0.3 over Rob Olenek. But 0.3 in qualifying is certainly not going to stretch you away in this race, Ryan.
Absolutely not. I don't think it doesn't matter where you qualify for this race today. I think because of the launch straights and also the banking, the slipstream is going to really play a factor in this race. So it could be worth keeping an eye out to see how some of these drivers get on that have not raced here that much.
Guillermo Almiral get his second one in. Dave Price improved and put himself ahead of Rob Olenek, so that gets him onto the front row. Ooh, Robert Plumley didn't get either of his laps, so he is going to be all the way at the back. We're running out of time, though. Let's see. Bruce Nelson, Ove Trangerade. Where is Trangerade right now, actually? And time is up, so we've got to go through the qualifying order. Mick Claridge is on the pole with Dave Price starting in second. Rob Olenek P3 and Jamie Fluke on the outside of row 2. Then you've got Peter Miku starting 5th with Roman Pawlowski in the 6th position. Bruce Nelson starts P7, Bill Tyler in 8th, and then Ove Trangrade, unusually for him, down in 9th. Richard Morin winds up the top 10.
Qualifying in 11th is Daniel Sadro. Alongside him in 12th is Chris Murakami. Andrew Eng qualifies in 13th. Michael Cook is in 14th. Jan Hoffman is in 15th. 16th is Martin Ilberg. 17th is Colin Cockert. Andres Bruno in 18th. 19th is Donald Peake. And rounding out the top 20 is Marco Ravioli.
Last few drivers to get a time in. Julio for Colin in 21st. Dave Cohen in 22nd. Almiral, we saw, got 23rd. And then Gary Anderson, 24th. And Jeff Biber in 25th. From there, these are all drivers that didn't get a time in. Plumley, Bentley, Good, Morris, Karhalainen, Reynolds, Buse, Beach, and Evans. They will be gridded at the back according to their iRating. We're waiting for the last of the field to find their way out here. Just a few more left to go, and we get racing for 15 laps today. This is going to be a wild one if this is your first time watching the Monza combined with the Lotus 49. Looks like everyone's out. Engines start to rev as the lights come up. Green flag is out. Off the line, Mick Claridge looking pretty decent. Keeps Dave Price behind him. Bit of a stack up back there around 5th or 6th as drivers try to get themselves sorted out. It is pretty narrow on this oval portion, so you got to be careful. And everybody immediately trying to go single file.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking throughout the field to see if everyone's managed to make it round so far without any issues. And yeah, quite amazing. Like, everyone's made it through round the banking in one piece. This is where the slipstream will start to come into effect, Joe.
Yeah, Dave Price gets himself up into the front. Claridge slots in behind him. Some of the drivers were telling us they are eager to try and get up to the front because it's been a bit chaotic so far throughout the race. Over the course of the week, this is their first time over the jump where the cars actually get airborne. And it looks like Mick's going to take that spot back down what is the traditional front stretch. Also moving up into second, that's Rob Olenek looking to the inside of Price. He's got that line taken away as they woe it up as he almost gets into Price. Both of them almost, and again, they come together. Olenek goes off course. He's back on, slides it off, and so everybody is able to avoid him.
Yeah, that was unlucky for all, and I think it's just a bit of contact between the two, nothing intentional. It's just close racing as someone else has had issues coming into the first chicane, I think.
Yeah, Daniel Sadro and Colin Bentley are off course. Otherwise, it looks like the others have managed to get through. So a few bits of action. We'll come back to that a little bit later. Claridge is loving that because he pulled a gap of about 0.8 of a second. Amazingly, though, that's still not going to be enough as he absolutely clatters over the curbs here, and Ascari getting very aggressive with him, trying to pull away. Ryan, from my experience out here, it's a whole 2 seconds that you still pull a draft in these cars.
Yeah, it's good to say as well. Mick's got a decent gap at the moment, but with this long home straight, these cars behind will be able to reel that gap back in. But I'm just looking through the field as well, and Jamie Fluke's had a decent start as well, and he's up into P4 or P5 at the moment. So good to see Jamie in the field as well today. He's one of the drivers that I watched quite a lot of on the iRacing service, and he's always been a decent, a quick driver, I should say.
Right now, the first big gap that we've got is between 6th and 7th, but even that is about 1.2 seconds. Up at the front, Claridge had a Price ahead of Mikus, but they come onto the backstretch of the oval. Price, once again, going to look to take it away. Mikus follows through. Claridge doesn't defend. Oh, but he's going to try and stay side by side up on the high side. He's not going to let himself fall to third quite yet. Fluke back there in fourth, stays with it. How are they going to do off the jump? Don't forget Roman Pavlowski in there as well. Top group is clean, and we're going to have another change as Claridge goes back through to first.
Claridge back to the lead, but right behind Claridge is Price. Price is trying to go for a move, I think, but he decides against it, and just behind these guys is Peter Mikus, and closely followed by Jamie Fluke, so it's still really close at the early stages of the race.
When we had our first driver to take a tumble off the jump, that was Andre Bruno. Absolutely went up and over after he lost control. Those who have raced in either the Pro Trucks or the Rallycross cars here on iRacing probably think, oh, getting there isn't that big of a deal, but you have to remember these cars are doing 190 miles an hour when they come off the oval.
I was just watching the replay as well to see what happened to Andre, and it looks like he might have just caught the bump on the exit and just lost the car. Unfortunately, he was a passenger, and into the wall he went and race over.
So it looks like that second group I mentioned before has caught up a little bit. Bill Tyler's reeled in Ove Trangrade by a margin. So now our big break is from Chris Murakami in 9th to Jan Hoffman in 10th. Whoa, and Dave Price has made a mistake through Parabolica, and he's got someone else with him. Trying to figure out who else that was. Gonna watch Dave Price here. Is that Mikus? Yeah, that was Peter Mikus that got into the back of Dave Price.
It just looks like Mikus might have just outbraked himself and just ran into the back of Dave, and unfortunately Dave just got tagged around and he was an unfortunate passenger.
That sounds like we had a big incident on lap 1 that we didn't catch because there's a lot of cars in the pits. Bruno for Colin, Evans, Snelson, Sadro, Peak. There's a lot of them that are sitting and taking repairs, hoping to just get back out there and log a few laps.
I'm just watching Jamie Fluke as well, and he's managed to get into the top 3 as well, and he's trying to make a move on the. It looks like Claridge and Pavlowski. So, but he's hanging back a little bit. So maybe just biding his time to see what happens and see how these guys get on and see if they get caught up with each other.
Yep, and that is Mick Claridge who swaps it around. He gets back up to the front. Fluke stays in 3rd. Trangrade now promoted to 4th with what happened to Price and Mikus. Bill Tyler, P5. Morin is up to 6. Murakami in 7th. Mikus didn't lose the draft. He falls back to 8th. So as they come out of the 2 Lesmos, they come down to Ascari. The only chicane that is left in this version is they took out both De La Roja and Rettifilio. Unfortunately, there's no pavement left for this one, so they have to continue to run through it here on iRacing. Claridge said he wanted to hold to the front. So far, he's staying true to his word. I think we had a little mistake from behind from Andrew Ang. Don't need to go to it. Looks like a self-spin as he's running down in 10th position. coming onto the oval once more as Pawlowski, who is running in second, is going to try and have another slipstream to get on by. Or will he wait? Will he take an opposite route to Mick Claridge? Does he feel good enough here in second position? They'll come onto the oval. They've started to pull away from Trangrade a little bit, and Bill Tyler is slipping back. So we'll see if they get reeled in on this portion of the lap or not. There's a run from Pawlowski down to the inside. Indeed, he's not going to sit around. Wow, and here comes Ove Trangrade like a shot. Can he manage to get up to first? Not quite. He goes from fourth to second, though. And that demotes Mick Claridge down to third. They are caught by Bill Tyler now, so that gives you an idea of how little that half second means. You don't really need to stay that close to the drivers ahead. Down the front stretch once more, and now Trangrade going for the inside as we see a 3 wide for the lead. That's Mick Claridge split in the middle. He's going to get it as he outbreaks both of them into the Curva Grande.
Yep, he gets him into the Curva Grande, and yeah, I'm loving this battle so far. It's still relatively close in the field, and as they come through this fast part of the track without the chicane, it's as they come up to the two Lesmos, and it's just still really close at the moment. And I think we're only on lap 4 of the race. I'm shocked to say, but it's still real close at the moment.
Watch this front group. I saw you kind of looking through on your replay a little bit there, Ryan. Did you manage to figure out who a little bit about what happened with that first wreck?
I didn't manage to see all the replay, but from what I seen, it just looked like everyone was bunched up together towards the back of the pack, and just because the pack was so close, everyone just had slight contact and mayhem descended, and that was it. But yeah, I couldn't find out who was the cause of the accident. But for me anyway, it was just a racing incident, and just with the track being so cramped and so close, it just caused an incident on lap 1, which was inevitable.
Right now, it is still Claridge as they come onto the oval leading. He has pulled about half a second over Trangrade, but that's going to give him a monster run here onto the backstretch. Claridge goes a little low off the corner, drifts back up high. Trangrade with the speed. We ride on board with Fluke. Ove goes by, and there's a lift from Pawlowski, though, so he's going to stay put. Up around. Everybody taking that frightening leap off of the oval, and these top 4 stick with it. They dropped a little bit. Bill Tyler. Ooh, did Richard Morin catch the wall, though? I think he's falling backwards. No, he did not, but he got loose. Meanwhile, Trangrade gets passed by Pawlowski. So their order now as they finish the oval portion is Claridge, Pawlowski, Trangrade, and Fluke for your top 4. Taking a look back at Morin, even though he got a little wobbly, he still stayed with the draft, so he's fallen back to 7th. Murakami is challenging him here, Ryan.
Yeah, it's still a good battle between these guys, and I wasn't sure what happened to Morin. He might have just got a bit unstable, but managed to hold it, and still it's a great battle between these guys at the moment for set P7 and P8, and they're not far off the leading pack as well. Thinking about it, just looking to the pack ahead, they're not far off them. So if this pack up at the front keeps scrapping amongst themselves, we could have more cars joining them very soon.
Well, looks like we found where the big wreck started on the first lap. If we want to watch the replay, because Marco Ravioli seems to be the one that kind of kicks this off. And then a bunch of people come in from behind and unfortunately are unable to avoid it. But we'll get back to that. Actually, it looks like we may have pulled this up. Let's take a look here. See, this was on the first lap with Ravioli. There we see some of the cars getting involved. Happen into Curva Grande. I think he gets into Don Peak here, who's checking up from a car in front, and there's nowhere to go. Bounces some cars back onto the track, and well, from there, it's just a chain reaction.
Yeah, all just kicked off, and everyone, once that kicked off, it just caused the concertina effect, and other cars either had nowhere to go or just they were so close together that there was nothing that anyone can do, and that was it. Just a bit of an early retirement for these guys.
Ooh, and it looks like it continued a little bit. We did see some of this. There was Bentley in there having problems down into the De La Rocha chicane. So, wow, that kept going for a while. Unfortunate to see. I think we just lost Daniel Sadro for some reason. I'm not sure why, as he's in the pits. So we come back live, though, up at the front. Your top group is now down to 8 cars. It is Trangrade, Pavlowski, Claridge, Fluke, Tyler, Mikus, Morin, and Murakami. From there, it's about 12 seconds back to Rob Olenek. And that is a graphic illustration right there of what we heard Mick talking about, Ryan. Rob's lost the draft, and doesn't seem like there's much he can do about it from here on out.
Yeah, I'm just watching Rob at the moment, and yeah, I'm not sure what happened, if he's made a mistake or... Yeah, I know he made a mistake early in the race, in the early stages. He's lost that draft, and he's in a bit of no man's land at the moment, but not far behind Rob is Colin Coker, so yeah, unfortunate for Rob, but after that mistake, there's no, especially around Monza as well, with it being a draft track, if you lose that draft, you've got no hope of keeping up with the pack. So yeah, there's only about 8 cars in the leading pack now, and yeah, it's still really close at the moment, but unfortunate for Rob.
And we saw there on screen that Mick Claridge is so eager to get up front that he actually made a pass around Parabolica. So he's going to get the slipstream of the leader with that move, because it put him into second place, and that's Trangrade up in front. Behind them, a lot of drivers checking up, though, including Mick now, who isn't willing to take it too wide here through the oval portion. Oh, we had a little bit of contact behind him. That was Jamie Fluke getting sideways. Everybody checking up behind. No wreck, but wow, was that scary.
Just watching the replay now to see what happened, and it looked like Jamie Fluke, he just got tagged from behind, and he got sideways, and amazingly, he managed to hold that. So credit to Jamie. That was a nice save, and when it could have ended up in disaster and possibly causing a multiple wreck.
If it was the net code, it's hard to tell from that angle. Wow, you do not want to be sideways on that banked portion. Amazing catch from him.
It was indeed. I would have to say, if I was given a score for the best save in the race, or for that save, I would have to give it 10 out of 10 for a good effort at saving it.
So that put a little bit of a gap between Fluke and Claridge. Actually make that Trangrade now, because Mick just took second away from Ove. They come down into Ascari once more. There's going to be 8 laps to go here soon, which will be just about halfway. Fluke should be able to get back within range of everybody. Oh, I think we lost Richard Morin, though. Yeah, Richard Morin may have lost the draft. You see him way back there on the screen. I think he had a self-spin. Yes, he did. And he hit the wall very, very hard in Ascari. That sent him into the wall. You could see the damage there. Let's take a look at the replay real quick. Didn't touch anyone, but he came very close.
Yeah, just looking to see what happened, and it might have been... he might have just took... I thought he spun in the exit of the second Lesmo, but yeah, he managed to hold it there. So yeah, it could be it could be just trying too hard or pushing too hard, and he just lost the car. And he was so close to hitting the car in front.
Yeah, it did look like he was pushing too hard from what you were saying there. On board, and this is a place where you want the car to look pristine so that you can be fast in a straight line as we come back live. His top speed certainly hampered. Pawlowski just took the lead on the front stretch. Trangrade follows him through into second. Claridge can do nothing but sit in third. Nope, I take that back. He can do something. He can try and outbrake into Curva Grande, and that gives him second place back. So are we down to 5 cars in the lead pack? Because Chris Murakami, about 2.8 seconds behind with Bill Tyler. They are out of range now.
So the pack at the front is starting to get smaller and smaller, but this battle for the lead is still going on between Pawlowski, Claridge, and Trevor. I'm not good at pronouncing names, but it's still fantastic racing up at the front. And I think Mick was saying before the broadcast that he just wanted to play it safe and survive in this race. So he's maybe playing the long game at the moment and just waiting to see what happens. And I don't blame Mick because of such a draft dependent track. It's maybe worth just sitting there and being patient and just waiting to see if anything happens.
Yeah, we saw a big bobble from Trangrade, and that's cost him. So Mikus watched that and decided he doesn't want to sit around, so he passes before they get into Parabolica. With about 9/10 of a second gap, that'll reel him in. They start to pick up speed already off the Parabolica. They're about 140. By the time they hit this first corner, it's climbing up to 190. And then they hit the banking at just about 200 miles an hour. Speed sustains here as they try to grip the wheel, heading through the corner. Off the banking now, up to 210, up at the front. Pawlowski takes it away from Claridge. That's Trangrade down to the inside, looking for second, all the way onto the flat. Cars slow up through here, down to 190, where that sustains. They come off the turn. 200 miles an hour as they come over the hump. Trangrade following in fourth as the lead swaps with Claridge looking to the inside.
Just watching Trangrade and Jamie Fluke as well. They're coming back. Jamie Fluke rather is catching this pack back up. So we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 or 6 car battle still going on for the lead. So this will probably go right down to the last lap. But the person that's probably in the best position at the moment is Jamie Fluke. He's just sitting there being patient and just biding his time. So it's a good bit of thinking or strategy.
Got a little bit of a battle farther down with Colin Coker and Andrew Ang. Right now, Coker holds that position as they come through the Curva Grande. Now down into the De La Roja kink here in this case. And worth noting as we watch this fight is, whoa, that was a big slide there from Coker getting into the Lesmos, is that now that Murakami and Tyler have dropped the top group, Olenek is gaining on them at a high rate of knots. So he could find himself at least a couple positions here before the end of the race. Lead is changing again, by the way. Claridge ahead of Mikus. Pawlowski runs third. Trangrade fourth. Fluke hangs out in the back. And then it starts all over again. Down to 6 laps to go. Mikus ran the fastest lap that time.
It looks like he's trying to make a move around the outside on the bank, and if he can pull this off, it'll be amazing. But Mick's sticking to his line, and Mikus has got the run on him.
Yeah, he's going to get it on the back stretch a lot safer up through there. Claridge is under threat from Pawlowski, who runs out of straightaway and lifts. Murakami and Tyler trade positions. Right on board with our leader looking back. You get a sense of how the car hops there and gets a little bit of air. Look to the inside from Trangarade. Pawlowski goes slightly defensive to hold him off and then goes on the attack as Claridge also down to the inside, going to take the lead away from Mikus.
And I think at this stage of the race, with the laps starting to close down, I think at this point it's everyone's got the gloves off and they're going for it. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who wins this race in the last lap. I think that the winner of this race could be decided on that back straight headed for the final corner. So yeah, I'm going to be keeping an eye on this pack. But I think I heard a bit of contact in the background, possibly.
I didn't quite catch that myself. We'll have to check in and see if you can find what happened. Already our lead pack coming down into Ascari. Order is Claridge, Mikus, Pawlowski, Trangarade, Fluke in the top 5. Can report that Olenek chopped a whole nother second off that time through. It's now down to 5 seconds up to Bill Tyler. If he keeps that up, he'll catch on the last lap, or at least, I guess, with maybe 2 laps to go with the draft. You see them having to really dance on the wheel as they get the throttle on off of Parabolica. Not entirely critical, but don't want to lose too much time with wheel spin.
Absolutely. As just looking back up at the front as well, and it looks like it's still Claridge, Mikus, Pawlowski, and yeah, Jamie Fluke's falling back a little bit from this pack in front. So Jamie Fluke's under attack from Trengren.
Up to the front goes Pawlowski. Claridge holds second. Mikus stays in third. Trangarade does catch back up with the draft and brings Fluke with him. So we stay at 5 for the top pack. Here we go off the jump once more.
Oh, contact.
Whoa! And that's Trangarade out. Big wreck on the front stretch. He is off into the grass and rolls over. Thankfully, nobody else involved. See what happened here. Once he was off in the grass, there was no saving it from there. Yeah, it seems like he just had to check up because the car ahead, that was Mikus, who unfortunately slowed him up, and his evasive maneuver may have saved the rest of the group, but certainly didn't help his race, unfortunately.
I'm just looking at the replay, and it looks like Changre just got caught out a little bit and just had to slow up because of Mikus in front of him. And unfortunately, Ove just headed into the wall, and that's his race over. But it was such rotten luck for him because he was having a great run and he was keeping up with the leading pack.
So now we're down to 4 of them. Just to give you an idea, if you're just joining, in the first couple laps, there were 10 cars in this train. They've been falling by the wayside bit by bit, and that was a mistake from Pawlowski into Parabolica. Again, this is not dire, but you got to watch those things. Coming on to the oval portion, Mikus decides not to try and push things, stays behind, allows Pawlowski to try to reel Claridge back in. The gap between Olenek and Tyler now is down to less than 4 seconds.
I think there's a battle in the down. Oh. There's a battle with Ravioli, I think.
They had an incident, it looked like, as he was turned around. Oh, and this was with Dave Cohen. This is for 16th spot. Ravioli starts to lose it, and unfortunately the two eventually come together. Cohen managed to keep it going, but certainly took a big hit to the left side. Oh, there you see it from on board the Italian.
As back up at the front, it's still Claridge leading the race from Pawlowski, and yeah, Pablowski, Mikas, and Jamie Flick as well. So they're down to 4 cars in this leading pack now. So I don't know who I would who I would choose to predict to win this race. Out of this pack, who would you pick, Joe, at the moment?
I mean, it's hard even for me. I wouldn't put money too far against Claridge because he knows how to run these things. He's a veteran of the series. Also, quick note, Dave Cohen fans, sadly, the damage that he had from that incident sent him into pits for repairs, so I'm not sure he'll have time to finish this race, sadly. Top 4 out of Ascari, down towards Parabolica. And Claridge has pulled it to about 0.8 of a second over Roman. Let's see if he manages to get it away from Pawlowski here. Pawlowski is going to reel him back in.
I'm just looking at the front of McLaren. Sorry, Joe.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm looking at the front of McLaren's car as well, and he's got a bit of a. It might just be my graphics or my replay, but on the front he's got a little bit of a front end damage, not major, but might be affecting the straight line speed.
Yeah, I can see it there on screen. They sometimes get that just from bottoming out through this oval portion. Yeah, I'm not sure that it's affecting him too badly because he's been able to stick with it. Interesting that we're seeing Mikus now start to hang out. I wonder if they're satisfied with how many cars there are in this group and starting to think long term. Well, Pawlowski's not. Pawlowski's going straight to the front, and Fluke is going for his move. It's been a while since we've seen Fluke up towards the front. He gets into second with that.
I think at this stage, Jamie Fluke is thinking he's got to go for it now. He can't afford to hang around with 2 laps remaining. So. Yep, Jamie. I thought there was going to be contact with Fluke, and I think it's Claridge behind him. So Jamie Fluke's starting to go for it. And if I was predicting a winner based on strategy or the way of thinking about this race, I would pick Jamie Fluke at this stage of the race.
And Rob Olenek has certainly got a never say die attitude today. He's managed to run down Murakami and Tyler. He is not only within their slipstream at this point, I'd say come the oval, he should be easily by these two. Now, getting by them is easy enough, but then running away from them is going to be a little bit harder. We'll see if he can do that. We ride on board with Rob now, who's currently in 7th, could maybe recover to a top 5 here. He's 3rd in the points, so every position is going to be important here, Ryan.
Indeed, as I was watching Mick, I think it was Mick I was watching. Through the left and the right and the left section of the track, he got a bit unsettled on the exit, so he's lost a bit of draft with Jamie Fluke and Pawlowski as Pawlowski goes back to the lead.
And they're back onto the oval as well with 2 to go. Penultimate lap here. They get speed up once more. Olenik's already overtaken Tyler behind them. Next up for him is Murakami, and Fluke looking for the lead. Ducking down way low. Driver up ahead, that's Dave Cohen staying out of the way. Thankfully, a little bit of tense moment turns out to be nothing as they lap that car. Fluke, your new leader. Claridge to 2nd. Pawlowski to 3rd. Mikus down in 4th. And Mikus a little unsteady off the jump. He's got to be careful. They're coming to the end of the oval. He needs to get back into this.
As McLaren is back to the lead. No, he's not. Jamie Fluke goes around outside. So we're up. They've got I think we've got this lap and 1 more to go.
That looks to me like Mick wants to be in 2nd place coming into the final lap. I'm guessing he doesn't want to be in the lead until he says so at this point.
I'm looking at his onboard again, just at that part of the track. It looked like he wanted to go for the move, and then at the last second he decided just to back out of it and stick behind Fluke. And yeah, that's a a good bit of thinking from Mick. He's races this series in car for quite some time, like you mentioned, Joe. And I think it's not always a bad thing to be stuck behind Jamie Fluke. He can try and use that draft heading onto the home straight, heading into the last lap, or wait until this back straight right here.
Rob Olenek has gotten by both Murakami and Tyler, but he's got about 0.6 of a second, so he himself is going to have a little bit of a fight to stay in that 5th position. All right, the white flag comes out for our top group as we ride on board with Mick Claridge. Up ahead, Fluke leads the way. Claridge at the 0.6 of a second back is going to get a mighty slingshot, but so is Pawlowski and Mikus behind him. So how is he going to play this? Does he wait? Does he go now here onto the backstretch? Out of turns 1 and 2 on the oval portion. Does not look like Mick is gaining a whole lot. Not as quick as you'd expect. I think he's trying to time this out. Pawlowski, and he tries to pull the block on Pawlowski, but that doesn't work out. Instead, he has to go now, but he runs out of straightaway. Roman looking to the inside as they go too wide. Are they going to try and go too wide over the jump? Roman starts to lift. He's not willing to be that brave here, even on the last lap. But here goes Mick. He pulls his move now. No chance to try and defend his Fluke as a sitting duck. Even though Mick has gotten up to the lead, here comes Pawlowski down to the inside. He covers off the inside as well as he can. Roman's got nowhere to go. Fluke comes back up the outside to try and attack once again, but he runs out of straightaway. He's offline, and Claridge has got the lead.
This is fantastic, Joe. I'm loving this. And Jamie Fluke trying to go up the inside there, but has to back out of it. And this is allowing Mick to pull away a little bit and build a bit of a gap, but we know what the draft's like, so that gap will be probably decreasing inch by inch. But this last lap, it's all to play for. And if you're Jamie Fluke in this pack, you've just got to go for it and try and just hope for the best and see what happens.
Pawlowski stays defensive as we ride on board with Fluke, breaking down into Ascari now. He can't quite get side by side. Maybe looking for the over-under here. Very wide line to give himself the shot. All of this is behind our leader, Mick Claridge, who has scampered away, timing it to perfection. Down to the inside, Pawlowski defending once again for that 2nd place. Fluke back to the racing line. Oh, a big bobble from Roman. And Fluke is going to sneak up the inside, but ahead of them to the line, Mick Claridge takes the victory here today at Monza. Behind, it is going to be Fluke who finishes in 2nd. Pawlowski gets 3rd, and Mikus in 4th. Olenek managed to run away from Murakami to get that 5th position. Sorry, Ryan.
I was just about to mention as well that Rob Olenek managed to get up to P5, and that's a good recovery drive for him.
It's not done yet for 12th position. Martin Oberg ahead of Robert Plumley and Don Good in there. Haven't been able to give them any screen time all race long. Martin's got himself a decent gap over Plumley. There's just not enough straightaway here coming down into Parabolica, so I'm doubtful that he'll be able to make an attack here, and indeed, he stays behind. Oberg coming off the Parabolica, clinches 12th place. Good settles for 14th. Last car on the lead lap is well back. That's Jasmine Beach. There's no battles left as Ravioli is pretty far behind Almiral, and he's actually coming across the line right now. So with that, we are going to head to break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll come back with the official results as well as driver interviews. Stick around because you'll see all the upcoming races here on GSRC. welcome back to Monza. We didn't watch your typical Monza race here, at least not compared to modern F1. The Grand Prix legends did it the only way they know how, which is to do it on the combined circuit with the oval, and gave us an almighty fight for the lead all race long. Mick Claridge came out your winner. The old veteran knew exactly how to play that one. Fluke, though, certainly gave him something to think about there through Curva Grande. We heard them chatting about that post-race, and he came in second. Roman Pavlowski winding up the last spot on the podium. Peter Mikus was within that top train at the end, but just couldn't manage to get on to the top three. He got fourth. And Rob Olenek, what a recovery from his opening lap spin, getting him back into fifth place. Chris Murakami finished sixth, and Bill Tyler in P7. Richard Morin finished eighth, and then Jan Hoffman in ninth. Rounding out your top 10 was Colin Coker.
Finishing in 11th was Andrew Eng. 12th place was Martin Olberg. 14th was Don Good. 15th was Telmo Amaral. 16th was Marco Ravioli. 17th was Yasmin Beats. 18th was Dave Cohen. 19th was Timo Kardzalainen. And rounding out the top 20 was Gary Anderson.
And then from there on down, it's all drivers who were multiple laps down, many involved in the opening incident or found themselves getting into trouble throughout the race. So not a good day for them, but a great day for Mick Claridge, our winner. Mick, at one point, Ryan asked me who my money would be on this race. And although I didn't put my money on you, I said I would not bet against you. So it seemed like you had that pretty well planned out.
No, I didn't at all. I didn't really know what I was going to do until sort of the last lap and a half. You know, it was all really changing a lot. You know, through the whole race, and so I didn't know what I was going to do until right at the end, and it all sort of. You know, I mean, you saw me and Roman going too wide on the banking at the end there. That was not part of the plan, you know. And but then when I got a run on Jamie at the end, and I thought, right, all I need to do now is cover Roman because I've got Jamie. And then Jamie was so fast in the Curva Grande on the last lap, I thought he was going to be there on my back wheel. And if he would have been, the next, you know, the little curb on the left where the second chicane is so tough to go too wide through there. Me and Dave did it earlier on this week, but yeah, no, it was tough, Joe, man. It was, you know, they're not easy races. Not when the guys are up front. You know, they're all the same sort of speed. You know.
You were telling us a little bit before the race that your goal was to stay up at the front to try and keep out of trouble. How far back were you willing to let yourself get? Because I don't think we saw you lower than third this whole race. Yeah,
I didn't want to go lower than third. If you get into fourth spot, then you've got trouble. You know, because you've got cars. You know, in the way, you know, so you saw a couple of times us going 3 wide down the straight. I didn't really want to do that because everyone sort of knows that trick now, you know, where you come off the banking, you know, make the pass, you know, from behind and you know, 3 wide into Curva Grande, you know, it's not good, you know. So I didn't want to be any worse off than third at any time, you know, because you don't know what's going to happen behind. I mean, you saw yourselves, you get a lot of trouble behind, you know, with and it's just the concertina effect into these really fast corners. You know, one guy will be following close behind another guy, and that guy will brake a little bit earlier. Then the guy loses the back end behind him, and then that's it. The guy behind him has lost the toe. So I really didn't want to get into that situation.
Well, you managed to get the victory on the one for the Sunday or Saturday championship, rather. Are you going to hop in a few more before the weekend is out, or if you had your fill?
No, that's it. Because I'm not doing too bad in the official championship, so I don't want to mess that up with the averages and stuff. But I just wanted to say, Joe, I didn't bet on me winning that either, to be honest with you. I didn't know who was going to win it. I thought Uwe was quick, you know. I thought he would be there. Rob, I can't believe Rob span out. You know, I don't know what happened to Rob. I just saw him off, you know, in my mirror, so he would have been there. You know, there should have been sort of 3 or 4 more cars up front with us. So I didn't. It's just a complete lottery. You don't know what's going to happen.
Well, in the end, I guess you were the lucky winner. That was Mick Claridge, our victor here today at Monza. And I believe Ryan has caught up with Rob Olenek, who recovered to fifth with an impressive drive.
Yeah, absolutely. Sit here with me right now is Rob Olenek. Rob, I that was a good recovery drive from you to finish in P5. Talk us through that incident in the early stages of the race. What happened?
Lap one. I haven't done well around a bunch of cars this week. I haven't had any success here. And I don't know what it is, because on that one, I wasn't even trying to gain a position. I was just coming up the inside, trying to maintain the inside and just keep my position. I was going to be letting Dave go through. And then I ended up just pushing wide, and bumped. I thought I had taken Dave out and felt kind of guilty the whole race, waiting to apologize to him later. And turned out, I guess he continued on fine, I think. But it was fun. I did a lot better this week on my own doing laps, so I guess it was kind of good for me to just be able to put my head down and just hammer away. And put in some good lonely laps and got to take advantage of some draft to help catch back up as best I could. I think I actually gained on the leading group from where I ended up after that first lap thing. I think I was further back than where it ended up. So I think I actually ran a really good race after that point.
Yeah, I mean, I was quite surprised. I was anyway, surprised that you made a mistake like that, considering that you're normally up at the front in this series. But I think, did you try and cut? I know you managed to come back to P5, but did you try and gain as many positions as possible and try and get back in the fight for the win? Or after that mistake, did you think that was it, race over, and it was just a case of getting to the finish and just salvaging whatever you could get?
You never know. I mean, when you're out of the group here, it's really hard to get the same speed as them, because the draft just pulls the group of cars faster than you can do alone. But it's a big field. There could be some battling. You never know. I mean, I think I ended up 10 or 11 seconds off. It really only took a couple more things that could have stirred things up a little bit, and I could have ended up back up in that group. And some of the guys that I ended up overtaking were just being way too nice, where if they planned to do a little leapfrogging, we could have made up another second a lap coming back up through the field. But I think they just kind of let me go and then just stayed behind me instead of jumping back and forth on the straights where we could both gain time.
Good stuff. Well, yeah, absolutely good, fantastic result, I should say, Rob, considering the issues at the start. But yeah, before you go, are you looking forward to next week's track?
Could you tell me what it is?
I have no idea myself.
Zandvoort. It's the next one, Zandvoort.
Oh, it's Zandvoort.
That's where Camel is this week. I'm doing that race later today. I love that track. It doesn't show up on the schedules very often, but it's such a cool layout. It's really fun. It's in Camel. It's going to be chaos today because it's really hard on multi-class. But I don't think I've ever driven the 49 there. I bet it's going to be pretty sweet.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for joining us, Rob, and we look forward to seeing you on track later in the Camel GT series, and also on track next week in the Lotus 49.
All right, have a good week. See you guys later.
That was fifth place finisher Rob Olenek. And of course, we are going to close up, as that's our last interview for today's broadcast, but we're not done yet. We want to give a big thank you to the Lotus 49 community, of course, for bringing us back for another season of coverage, and also to iRacing for putting us on IESN. Make sure and subscribe. It's very simple. Just click the big red subscribe button. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen. And additional thanks go to June Lalonde, that provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the team today, Ryan, Sean, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on social media. Our Twitter is @GSR Channel. Facebook is at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram is GSRC_Graham. If you'd like to support the channel, we've got a merchandise store at gsrc.storeenvy.com. The link is in the description below. And the next race, as we mentioned, we're going to Zandvoort. That'll be Saturday, January 18th at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. But if you can't wait that long, you heard right. We're covering Zandvoort with the Camel Series in just a couple hours, so stick around for that. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.